BookGames, the publishing innovation that makes education irresistible. Welcome to the Voice of Sovereignty. Today is different. Today, I'm not here to talk about a book, a lesson, or a philosophy. Today, I'm here to tell you about something we've built at Global Sovereign University that, as far as I can tell, has never been done before in the history of publishing. We call them BookGames. And by the time I'm finished explaining what they are and why they exist, I believe you'll agree that this is one of the most exciting innovations in educational publishing. Maybe in publishing, period. That's come along in a very, very long time. So what is a book game? Simple concept, profound implications. A book game is a free, interactive challenge built around the core ideas of a specific book that you can play right now, online, before you ever spend a dime. We're calling the concept play before you buy. Think about that for a moment. In the music industry, you can hear a sample before you buy. In the movie industry, you watch a trailer. In the software industry, you get a free trial. But in the book industry, the oldest form of mass communication on the planet, what do you get? A blurb on the back cover, maybe a customer review, maybe a look inside preview of the first few pages. That's it. That's where publishing has been stuck for decades, until now. GSU has built a BookGames hub, a free public gateway to over 95 interactive games representing our growing catalog of books. Each game contains 50 to 100 scenario-based challenges drawn directly from the book's core ideas. You don't just read about self-reliance, you make decisions about it. You don't just read about leadership, you face ethical dilemmas and find out whether your instincts align with the principles. You don't just read about anger management, you practice emotional regulation in realistic situations. And here's the part that makes this revolutionary. You're supposed to get some of them wrong. The psychology of strategic failure. Let me explain what I mean, because this is the heart of the innovation. Traditional book marketing tries to convince you a book is worth reading. BookGames takes the opposite approach. They let you experience your own knowledge gaps. When you play a book game and you answer a question wrong, and let me tell you, these questions are designed to challenge you, not to pat you on the head. Something remarkable happens psychologically. You feel a gap. You feel the absence of knowledge you thought you had. And that gap creates what educators call intellectual hunger, a genuine, intrinsic desire to learn. This is not my invention. Nobel Prize-winning research has demonstrated that students who score perfectly on classroom tests often fail spectacularly at applying that same knowledge in the real world. Why? Because traditional education gives you information without context and knowledge without application. BookGames flips that script entirely. They give you the application first, and then you discover whether you actually have the knowledge. You sit down to play the Teach Them to Fish book game, and you think, self-reliance versus dependency, I know this stuff. 15 questions in, you've missed 4. You're learning that the difference between dependency and self-reliance is more nuanced than you thought. And now you want to read the book. Not because someone told you it was good, not because of a 5-star review, because you just experienced firsthand a gap in your own understanding. That's the magic. Strategic failure creates intellectual hunger. Intellectual hunger makes education irresistible. The scale, 100 books, 9,500 plus scenarios, all free. Now let me give you the numbers. Because the scope of what we're building is, I'll just say it, breathtaking. We are building book games for approximately 100 titles. Every game features between 50 and 100 interactive scenarios. That's over 9,500 individual learning challenges, all of them free, all of them available to anyone in the world with an internet connection. Fish series, 4 interconnected games about self-reliance, the multiplication of knowledge, the practice of teaching, and solutions to hunger and poverty. We have games on ethical leadership, purpose-driven living, building a second career after retirement, and living well with intention. But it doesn't stop at personal development. We have a book game on AI and business strategies, real-world implementation, not science fiction. We have one called Alien Invasion that uses science fiction allegory to explore questions about human autonomy versus convenience. We have an interactive fabric features dictionary for professionals in the garment industry. We have a game based on a historical novel about an Iroquois chief and a British princess exploring cultural understanding. We have a game on anger management using CBT and mindfulness principles, and that's just the first 14. We have 86 more in development. Mathematics games, trade skill games, American history games, psychology games, financial literacy games. The entire GSU educational catalog transformed into playable experiences. I want you to think about what that means. A student in rural Appalachia and a student in downtown Lagos can both access the same interactive learning experiences for free. A homeschooling parent in Idaho and a curriculum developer in Singapore have the same tools. A retired professional looking for purpose and a teenager trying to figure out life both sit down at the same game and engage with the same deep questions. This is what we mean when we say, building a bridge to freedom through education, not handouts. We don't hand people answers. We hand them challenges, and the challenges create the hunger to learn. Why has nobody done this before? That's the question everyone asks when they see the BookGames Hub for the first time. Why hasn't anyone in the publishing industry done this before? And the answer reveals something important about how most publishers think versus how GSU thinks. Traditional publishers see a book as a finished product. You write it, you print it, and you sell it. Marketing means convincing people to buy something they've never experienced. The entire model is built on trust. Trust the author, trust the reviews, trust the publisher's brand. But trust is a weak motivator compared to first-hand experience. GSU sees a book as the beginning of a learning journey, not the end of a marketing funnel. The book game is the invitation. The book is the deep dive. Together, they create something neither could alone. An experience that starts with engagement and builds toward mastery. You can't just throw together a quiz and call it a game. Each book game has to capture the real substance of the book. The wrong answers can't be obviously wrong. They have to represent genuine misconceptions, real-world temptations, and common mistakes that intelligent people actually make. The right answers have to illuminate something, not just confirm what you already knew. And the game design has to reward progress. Our games use a badge system, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, that gives you tangible milestones. You're not just answering questions, you're leveling up. You're watching your score climb. You're building streaks. You feel it when you're on a roll, and you feel the sting when you break a streak. That emotional engagement is what transforms passive reading about a topic into active wrestling with it. Walk with me what playing a book game feels like. Let me walk you through the experience, because until you've played one, it's hard to appreciate just how engaging these are. You visit the BookGames Hub on our website, you see the full catalog organized by category: Teach a Man to Fish series, Life Purpose and Leadership, AI and Business, Historical Fiction, Trade Skills. Each one has a book cover, a brief description, and one button, Play. You click play on, say, A Purpose-Driven Life. The game loads instantly. No downloads, no registration, no paywall. You see your scoreboard, score, correct answers, streak, and questions remaining. You see your badge, bronze. And you see your first scenario, high-paying job you're good at versus meaningful work that pays less. Two choices, two very different philosophies. You read both options, you think, you choose. And immediately you get feedback, not just right or wrong, but why. A brief explanation that connects your answer to the deeper principle from the book. If you got it right, you feel validated. Your streak grows. Your score jumps. You're approaching the silver badge and you can feel it. If you got it wrong, and here's the critical part, you just learned something. You thought you knew how to think about purpose, and the game just showed you a blind spot. That's uncomfortable. That's powerful. That's learning. 50 scenarios later, you've wrestled with questions about passion versus discipline, fear versus growth, credentials versus contribution, and identity versus expectation. You know more about purpose than you did 20 minutes ago. And this is the business genius of it. You now want the book, not because we told you to buy it, because you just experienced what it teaches, and you want more. The bigger vision, education that doesn't feel like education. Now let me pull back and show you the bigger picture, because BookGames isn't just a marketing innovation. It's an educational philosophy made interactive. At GSU, everything we build rests on one conviction: people don't need handouts. They need capability. They don't need someone to give them fish. They need to learn how to fish. And the best way to make someone want to learn how to fish is to let them feel the hunger. Book games are the hunger. The books are the fish. The education that follows through our gamified learning center, our Civilization Builders mentorship program, our math-made visual curriculum, and our robot-proof skills training, that's the fishing rod. We're building an entire ecosystem where each piece feeds the next. And here's what keeps me up at night in the best possible way. Every one of these games is free. Every single one. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We don't run ads. We don't sell data. We don't charge for access. Every book royalty and every donation goes right back into building more educational content for the world. When a visitor plays a book game, gets hooked, and buys the book on Amazon, that purchase does double duty. The reader gets the knowledge, and the royalty funds more free education for the next person. It's the multiplication principle in action. One of the very principles we teach in the Teach a Man to Fish series. The model practices what it preaches. Built for everyone, everywhere. One more thing I want to highlight, because it speaks to our values. These games are built to work on any device. A smartphone in rural India, a library computer in Appalachia, a tablet in a homeschool family's living room, a laptop in a corporate training room. No apps to install, no accounts to create, no data to surrender. You click, you play, you learn. Each game page also includes structured data for search engines, schema markup that tells Google exactly what we're offering, an educational quiz, the book it's based on, the author, and the educational organization behind it. This means when someone searches for these topics, our book games can appear as rich results. The games find the people who need them, not just the people who already know about us. And every game page features an FAQ section with the most common questions about the book's topic, adding even more educational value before the visitor ever opens a book. Between the game, the FAQ, and the link to the full book, each book game page is a complete learning gateway. An invitation. So here's my invitation to you, and I mean this personally. Go to globalsovereignuniversity.org, click on Book Games, pick any title that catches your eye, play it, see how you do, and then ask yourself, did I learn something? Did I discover a gap I didn't know I had? Do I want to go deeper? If the answer is yes, and I'm confident it will be, then you've just experienced what we believe is the future of how the world discovers books and engages with ideas. Not through advertisements, not through algorithms, not through celebrity endorsements, through experience, through play. Through the timeless human desire to test yourself against a challenge and come out sharper on the other side. You know, when I started GSU, people asked me why a 73-year-old Navy veteran with a doctorate in business was building free educational games for the internet. And my answer was always the same, because nobody else was doing it, because the publishing industry was leaving the most powerful tool in education, interactive experience, sitting on the table. Because somewhere out there, right now, is a teenager who won't pick up a book about leadership, but will absolutely play a game about ethical dilemmas. And that game might be the spark that changes the trajectory of their entire life. That's what book games are. That's what GSU is. We are building a bridge to freedom through education, not handouts. And now that bridge has a game on it. The future is now. The possibilities are inspiring, and the games are free. Come play. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, the best education doesn't feel like education at all. It feels like a challenge you can't put down. Strat 2026, Global Sovereign University. All rights reserved.